Hey, I'm Patrick. I'm a brewer here at Goose Island. I'm going to show you around the brewery today and let you see what we do here. So follow me. This is the brew house here. This is the brew house. This is the hot side of brewing where the initial processes start here. Let's go down and take a look. Here we've got the grist case. This is where all the malt goes after we mill it. So malt comes in, we'll put it through a mill so we break it up a little bit, kind of similar to a coffee bean, how you want to break it up to get to the insides. Goes into here so we can weigh out how much, and then we'll put it downstairs into a tank where we mix it with hot water. This water then turns the starches that are in the grain into sugars that we eventually will extract out. Becomes the food for the yeast and eventually becomes the overall beer. So after it goes through that process, it comes over to this tank. This is the lauter tun. So what this is pretty much a means of separating the liquid from the solid. So now that we have that sugary water, we want to separate that from the grain. So it's in effect, it's like a giant coffee filter almost. So it goes through here, drains the liquid out. We'll shower it with more warm water to rinse all those sugars off the grain. And then from there it flows out, goes into the next tank here. This is just a boil kettle. So the purpose of this is to boil the liquid. So at this point we call it wort. So it's just sugary water. We'll add hops to give it some bitterness, and it boils for about an hour. So that does a couple things. It sterilizes it so that there's nothing growing in it, so that all we have is yeast eventually in the fermenter. So the hops give it some bitterness, give it the aroma, and also helps concentrate the flavor as we boil. After we're done boiling, then we'll go to the tank right over here. This is a Whirlpool. So when we added those hops, we added more solids, so we want to again separate any solids from the liquid. So what this does is it spins it in a circle so that the solids pile up in the middle. We can then pull the wort off the side of the tank and leave all the solids behind. So we end up with nice, clean, sugary water and wort. And then from there it goes into the cellar. So we can go down and follow the path. So now we're underneath the brew house. What we have here is a heat exchanger, so it's hot in the Whirlpool, so we need to cool it down so that way when we put the yeast into it, it's nice and cold for it. It's not going to be too hot and kill the yeast. So this just cools down the wort to a nice kind of room temperature. And then we'll send it into the cellar where we'll begin the fermentation process and the cold side of things. So over here, we've got the cellar. We have a number of different tanks, different sizes. They range from about 1,500 gallons to about 12,000 gallons. So it just kind of depends on the size of the brew that we want to make and how much beer we're trying to make for that beer. We'll put the wort that the brew house just made into one of these fermenters. We'll add yeast to it, and then that yeast will eat the sugars that we just made in the brew house, and it creates both flavors from the particular yeast strain and also alcohol and carbon dioxide. So it'll ferment in these tanks for about 2 weeks, give or take, depends on the beer style. Ales are about 2 weeks, whereas lagers about 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the particular style and recipe. Then eventually, once the beer is ready to be put into a package, we'll then put it through our finishing processes. So let's go take a look at that. This is our finishing area. So this is a centrifuge, and similar to the brew house, its job is to remove any solids from the beer. So when we put all the yeast into the beer, it creates more yeast as it grows and propagates. So we want to remove all that. We want to remove any hops that might still be in there, especially for any dry hop beers where we had more hops in the fermenter. So it'll come in and go through the centrifuge that's just spinning really fast, causes the solids to go to the outside and the liquid goes up and back out. So it'll go through the centrifuge, comes in hazy, comes out nice and clear, and then it'll go through over into a bright tank where we hold it for packaging. So, speaking of packaging, let's go take a look at the can line. We'll do a quick detour to check out a little mini brewery. This is our research and development brewery. So it's about 1/25 or so of the size of our main brew house that we started in. So it's about 2 barrels per brew, and this allows us to do a lot smaller volumes, try out a lot of new different things. For example, this is a sherbet IPA that they've been working on down here. So it really allows us to just try new things, push the envelope on things, and see what we can come up with that everyone's going to want to be drinking next. If you followed me. Here we have our can line. We put this in brand new just about a year ago, year and a half. So put our can line in here because we wanted to get a lot more fun, unique beers out to the city of Chicago. So this allows us to be a lot more flexible and get a lot more beers out into, bars, restaurants, grocery stores, really anywhere that great Chicagoans are drinking beer, we want to make sure that we've got an option for them. So this is a can line that comes in. Cans will come off of the pallets here and automatically go through a conveyor line. Kind of wraps around and comes down into the filler. Filler does just that. It fills up the can with beer. And then it gets a lid put on, sealed up. And then it goes around over this way where it goes into a different type of package. So it could be 6 packs, 4 packs, 24 packs, 15 packs, 12 packs. Name a pack, we'll put it in it. From here, it just goes around, gets put on a pallet, and then gets shipped directly out all over the city. So we can go through probably about 300 to 400 barrels of beer a day, depending on which package type we're doing. And yeah, keeps us busy, keeps you guys from being thirsty. If beer doesn't go into a can, we can also put it into a keg so that we can send draft all over the city. And one of the best places to grab a pint of our beer on draft is our tap room. So let's go have one. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming and visiting Goose Island. Hope you guys have a great day and enjoy some of our beer.